Hey, it's Robert. Now let's get your book published on Amazon. Little known fact, it is free to publish your book. Anyone can publish a book. And what does publishing your book mean? Well, it means that on Amazon, someone can go to Amazon's website and click the button and use the Kindle app or even read it on their browser and have access to you and your book. Now, you know that in this day and age, sure, physical books are great, and Amazon will also allow you to publish a physical book for free, but just to get something super simple online, many books don't even have a physical version. Many books, you go to Amazon's website, you click, and you get the book digitally. And as we said, that means that if someone has a Kindle device, they can read it, or on their phone, maybe they have the Kindle app, or they can read it on their browser. So how the heck do you do it? Well, basically, you need to know a handful of things. First of all, KDP.com. KDP stands for Kindle Direct Publishing. That is Amazon's distribution site. And you use your Amazon account to do this, and you can just go, and this is a big long URL, but just kdp.com. They even shortened it. They even made it where you can go right there. You get an account or you sign in, and then I just have it set the same as my Amazon account, and I have to type in a code if I can find it. There we go. So it's even secured with their phone. And once you go here, all you need to do and know is, number one, have your Word document, your book manuscript, and you just can type up your book in Google Drive or Microsoft Word. And number two, you need a book cover, and a great free tool to make a book cover is called Canva. And then number three, you need your book description. Like when you go to a book on Amazon, there's some wordage about what the book is and what it's about. So here's one of my books, 231 reviews, and here's this part, right? Here's the description. Now here's something I wish I had known years ago. You can edit all of this. If you want to upload a newer version of your book, you can. If you want to change the price, new cover, new anything, I think the only thing you can't change is maybe the subtitle and the title, but anything else can be changed right in here. And you can see right here, there's a Kindle version, paperback, audiobook, but let's just focus on getting the digital Kindle version done. And so we'll go wherever we were to KDP. And here's the list of the books that you have already. And what we want to do is click on this giant Create button. Click on Create. And then it's just a matter of filling in the form. And I know you might get stuck. And I know that I got stuck early on the question coming up about the ISBN number. And I just clicked on the convenient button that said, hey, Amazon, give me an ISBN number. And we'll continue that way. So we click on Create eBook. And then language English, and then I guess it would help if I had my book ready to go. And so let me bring up, here I have my Word document here, and what we really recommend is for the paperback book later on and the hardcover, sure, use a PDF, but for the digital Kindle version, upload a Word document. And let me show you how I do this. Is I have the first page is a title style, they call it. So you have the different styles right here. We have styles. So you have the title and subtitle. And then we have this wordage, this all rights reserved, and then the copyright, and then the website for the book. And then we have the cover of the book itself right in here. And then we have a table of contents, and in Word you can just say, I believe, references, table of contents, insert table of contents. And then this is drawn up dynamically. And what happens is as you write our book, you have your different chapters, right? And you have your chapter, like chapter title, and then you make this what's called a heading 1 style. And then you have the rest of your regular text. You have this be a normal style. And then when you have these sort of not quite a chapter title, but a section title, like a chapter separator, then you make that a heading 2 tag. So you have a title tag, you have heading 1 for your chapter titles, heading 2 for your subtitles, and normal text. And when you do all those things, then you can just go up here and it will generate your table of contents for you. You can click and update the table of contents whenever you make changes for your book. And then you can double click down in the footer here and you can say insert page number and just stick page numbers on there. And so this will help you out later on. But the good news with Kindle is that page numbers don't really apply. They sort of strip that out because you don't know if you're going to be reading this on a browser, on a small phone, on a big tablet. And so you don't have to worry as much about the formatting. You don't have to worry about like a spine or a back as you would with a physical book, because those things don't exist, right? On Kindle, in the digital version, there's just a front cover and then the actual inside of the book, the manuscript, which is a Word document, which just contains this sort of legalese and that cover page. So we have our Word document right here, and we'll go and make sure we save the latest version and see what we're dealing with. So I needed it to figure out what my own book title was. So let me pull this up. Whoops, that's a text file. I'll pull up my book manuscript and I'll start filling these in, and you can just watch me do it. That way when it's your turn, then you will be less nervous and less uncertain, which means more certain. And then we'll take maybe I can just put this side by side here. Side by side. Okay. I guess that'll work. And then we put our subtitle here. And let me just make sure that this big ideas and rewarding challenges. So there's our subtitle. Not part of a series, skip the edition number, and then the author. Now, in your case, this will probably be just your first and last name, but in my case, this is a compilation book. This is a book with multiple authors. So if we look at the table of contents, see Greg wrote a chapter, Sherry wrote a chapter. So I am going to place these different author names over into this list. So we have the primary author here, be Pat Mesiti. And then if someone, say, like wrote the foreword or something, you can put them in there as well. But I will just put in these. So here's this author, add another author. Here's this other person. And all done. Amazon allows us to list a primary author and then 19 other contributors. So in this case, we have 10 authors for our book total. Next, we have the book description. And if you're a whiz with ChatGPT, then you can have it write it for you. And if you want me to dive into a little bit of inside baseball, ChatGPT, we go here and we can go to Explore GPTs and then create. And so I previously created this GPT just for my book, and I said, you're an expert in copywriting, and then I uploaded text documents containing each of my chapters. That way I could say, write a synopsis about the entire book. And then it would and right now we're over the limit for the next 10 minutes. But if you're curious about what we inputted, I just said, write a detailed book synopsis, include lots of bullet points, and then it created this, and it listed the chapters, and you can even just write out the bare minimum, right? Write 4 or 5 sentences, explain the problem your book solves, list a couple of bullet points about what they'll get out of it, and give them a final message saying to get it. That will get the job done. And what we had created here was this. So I have this already written to save us time. I think it's going to be too long when we paste it in. Let's find out. So let's paste this in. 40 characters over, just barely over the limit. So let's see what we can cut out. So we'll cut out this. Is that enough? Oh, 21 characters. And why does the number keep increasing? Okay, there we go. So now we have 150 characters that we could fit in if we wanted to. And when we'll format this a little bit, and maybe, ooh, I like that. Heading 4. And then maybe I'll like bold my book title and then turn these into bullet points. But that is the format, is problem, solution, bullet points, call to action. That's what we have there. And don't let this hold you up, right? Because you can always go back and edit it later. Then I own the copyright. It's not a public domain work. Sexually explicit image, no. And then reading age, we'll just leave that blank. And then categories. So we are at our ChatGPT maximum, but here's a little trick no matter what your version of ChatGPT is. If you go and create a new ChatGPT window and you say, tell me which SEO keywords to use for my Amazon book, and tell me which Amazon categories to choose for Kindle. Let's see what it gives us. And here we go. So personal growth, mental health, financial freedom, entrepreneurship, personal transformation, self-esteem. So it gives us less guesswork when it comes time to fill this in. So choose categories, and we'll choose, so what did it say? So I want to do maybe like a self-help and a business. So a self-help, personal transformation, and then business and money, small business and entrepreneurship. So we'll do self-help. We say personal transformation. Add another category. And we said business, entrepreneurship, I think. Business and money, small business and entrepreneurship. So they don't have that. It's just this. Entrepreneurship. Okay. And then we can choose one more. So let's also do maybe either time management or motivational. How about motivational? Self-help motivational. Add another category. Self-help motivational. Wonderful. Save changes. And then keywords. Let's do personal growth, entrepreneurship, financial freedom, and fill in as many as they will allow you to do. Goal achievement, life transformation, emotional healing, manifestation. Okay, I'm ready to release my book now. I always do this because who has the time otherwise? And that's the basics. And then we are getting it more into the cover and the manuscript. So we say, yes, add digital rights management. And then that allows them to lend the book to others, things like that. And then we will browse to that Word document, that .docx file. Give that a moment. Okay, it's been uploaded. It takes a little while to process. And then after they process, then we'll have a chance to click through and preview what the book looks like. And then we need to create a cover. And I'll warn you that the built-in Kindle covers don't look very good. It's much better if you upload your own cover, which used to be a scary proposition, right? You'd have to get Photoshop. But nowadays, you can just use a tool like this, like Canva. You can create a design. And I believe there's even a book cover size. And the Kindle digital version is much more forgiving as far as the sizes. So as long as you are sort of in a 16:9 ratio. And then we can just search book templates and say book cover. And here we go. Maybe I should have used this for the light bulb moment book. I'm not sure. But you can just say book cover or red book cover. You can do business book cover. So you can just go crazy like this. and say, okay, I want to have this cover. And let's say even you wanted to have a picture of yourself, right? You can just go to uploads. And do I have a picture of me in here? Well, I have my podcast guest, but I don't see me in here at all. But I could just go to my own Facebook page or my LinkedIn and go and grab my own profile picture. Right? Click on this, see profile picture, save my own picture, and we could close that. Go to uploads, upload a file, and upload that Facebook profile picture. Here we click, here I am. I can say edit photo, background remover, give that a moment, and then position to front. And here I could, put myself right here on the cover. I could say elements and search for frames. And I could find one of these like circular picture frames and put it there, and then place my photo inside of it. I don't really like the way that looks. So let me find one with a border. So if I say basic shapes, if I can't find what I want, I could just search for a circle picture frame and get one with a border like this, and then drag myself inside. And then I could say I want this to be like white and orange. There we go, like an orange background or a blue background. You could get it exactly the way that you wanted it. And I really highly recommend that you have your own photo on the cover of your own book. And any of this text, you can just right click and put your name on there. And you can say how did we do this? The light bulb, and maybe make it a little smaller, moments. And then anything that doesn't fit, you can just delete. Is my name on here? Yes, it is. And then maybe make myself fit better, right? And you position it any which way that you want to. And then when it comes time to use it, you click on share. And then download. And then choose I think they let us do a JPEG, or they say JPEG only. So they let us do a JPEG, and we can download it that way. Now, I already have a much better book cover prepared. Just wanted to show you how I do it. So I will go back to the book cover we made already. So we made this light bulb moment book cover. And I'll do the same thing. I'll say share, and then scroll down a little, download, JPEG format. And then I'm only going to download this one page here. So download that. And we've downloaded our book cover. And now we go back here, upload your cover file. And then I believe that's it. So the only real sticking points, as we said, were the Word document, the contents of your book, and then the description that will appear on the Amazon page, and you just go problem, solution, bullet points, action, and then the book cover, and you fumble your way around Canva. You say, I want to create a new document, make it book cover size, then you search for a template, and then you just change the words, drop in your photo, share it, download as a JPEG, and then now you can use it here. So we are almost at the finish line here, even though it's still processing, but hopefully by the time we get the other questions answered, it will be done. Did you use AI tools in texts or images or translations? No. And then we just need to wait until the processing for both of these is complete. So as soon as those are complete, then this grayed out button will change to yellow, I believe, and then we will be able to flip through. Oh, see, it's changing before our eyes, right? As soon as this turns to yellow, we can flip through, preview it. I think it forces us to preview it just to make sure. We found one possible spelling error. Let's see what that's all about. So click on Launch Previewer. here's how this looks. So here's the cover. You flip through and you can just see how this will look on a device. And so the only problem they had, they thought it was a spelling error. It was someone's URL. And so we previewed. Oh boy. What's happening there? So we just kind of click through. And it also might warn you if you have some low resolution images in your book, but that is not a deal breaker. And we'll just say ignore these. And then there should be like an exit button, I believe. Or maybe we just click back. Now that we've previewed it. Okay. And then the ISBN, skip that. And then publisher, you can have this on here. So all this does is, I believe, let's say you did fill in the publisher field, it would just appear down in here. So really not that something to worry yourself about. For now, leave it blank. If you really are dead set on it saying publisher, whoever, then you can have this mixed in with all these other bullet points. But that's all that does. So leave ISBN blank, leave publisher blank. So to recap, we said title, subtitle, authors, manuscript, cover, and categories. And then click on Save and Continue. And then enroll my book in KDP Select. This allows you every 90 days to have your book for free for 5 days, like either 5 days at once or 5 days sprinkled out. I highly recommend it. And then just set a recurring 90 days in your calendar in order to reset that. It'll really help boost your sales. Primary marketplace, Amazon.com. And then what kind of royalty do you want? How about we just say 70%, $3. And so basically there's basically like three choices here, right? You can either go like the bare minimum price, I'm giving it away, which is where you'd say 35 cents or 35%, 99 cents. The other option is to say, I want this to be a highbrow, high ticket book. So you make it 70% and then as high as you can make it. And or you sort of split the difference and say, okay, well, 70% royalty, but I'll make it $3. So this is sort of my preference these days. I believe that they have a way to auto-calculate it, but it doesn't matter that much. It's just a matter of, well, is it $1, $2? How many pennies will you make? It's not a huge deal as far as the price of your book, right? Whether it's $2 or $3, like, what does it matter? So just get it out there. And then that's it. You set that price, and then it converts it to all these currencies for these other marketplaces, and then you just click on Publish Your Kindle Book. And in my case, I don't know if it's because I have so many Kindle books in my account, they usually approve me within 3 hours, but they might take 48 hours, especially if you only have a book or two, or if this is your first book. But that is what it takes in order to get your book digitally on Kindle. And Amazon also allows you to publish like a paperback and a hardcover version, and it's almost the same process. And even, well, I won't get the process started, but if you click on this Create Paperback button, then it will have most of this already filled out for you. They already have like the title and the authors and the description, but there's a little more formatting involved. You will have to figure out a back cover, which you can also use Canva for. You'll have to figure out a spine or a side and just a few little details like that. And then the other thing about a paperback book is that you sort of have to take this Word document where it was okay just to upload this as is, but you can then, I at least, like to save as a PDF file instead. And then when you have the paperback, you have to be a little more careful about where things land. So like in my case, do you see how there's some of these blank pages? And in the digital Kindle version, they'll take these blank pages out. But you think about it, when you open up a physical book, you sort of want a chapter to start on the left side, right? On a odd numbered page. And then you need to make sure about like page numbers being on the outside or the middle, not the inside. So there's a few little nooks and crannies to figure out as far as the paperback. You also have to be careful about the margins, because I don't know if you've ever seen a improperly formatted book where you open it up and the text is like too close to the margins. You have to like pull the book open. And so the paperback book, there's a few ways to go wrong, which is why it's really great for you to just start with the digital Kindle version, and that's literally all it was. It took us 25 minutes to do because we were talking, but you could probably get it done in 5 or 10 minutes if you were really quick. You just have to know those few things: titles, subtitle, author names, description, categories, the Word document or the interior of the book, and then the cover, which you can save a JPEG file from Canva, figure out the pricing, and then you have a book. You are a published author on Amazon that someone can click and buy. They can go to your Amazon page, they can click on this Kindle button, and they can get it added to their account. They can read it on their phone, they can read it on their tablet, they can read it on their Kindle device, they can read it on their browser. They can get your book from Amazon, and you can get the royalties because you listened to your good friend Robert Plank. You went to KDP.com. You clicked on this create button, you got it done, you got it approved, you became a published author on Amazon. Congratulations. This is Robert Plank from bookformula.com, and congratulations for a second time in advance of you being a published author. Thank you for watching. Go out there, like and subscribe, and get your book on Amazon right now, yesterday.